What's up, guys? Ian here, coach of your Ladner Lanturn, bringing you guys our Week 9 Team Builder, taking on Vandiril and the Gallahan Kirlias. Our team consists of Manaphy, Alolan Ninetales, Nidoking, Silvally, Honchkrow, Armaldo, Megalatios, Buzzwole, Lycanroc Dusk, Skarmory, and Magneton. She has priority options in the Nidoking with Sucker Punch, technically Alolan Ninetales with Ice Shard as well, I just didn't think that was that relevant. Honchkrow with Sucker Punch, Armaldo with Aqua Jet, Lycanroc Dusk with Sucker Punch and a Cell Rock. Hazard setting in the Nidoking with Rocks and Toxic Spikes, Armaldo with Rocks, Lycanroc Dusk with Rocks, and Skarmory with Rocks and Spikes. Hazard removal options, Silvally with Defog, Honchkrow with Defog, Armaldo with Rapid Spin, Megalatios with Defog, and Skarmory with Defog. 4 times weaknesses, the Alolan Ninetales to Steel, Buzzwole to Flying, Magneton to Ground. In terms of what I'm not expecting, only Armaldo is the only thing that stands out that wouldn't really have a matchup. Personally, I don't think Silvally really comes many of the times. Either Hamu seems to be dead set on Silvally Grass coming. It could be a decent superior check, which this team otherwise reasonably lacks. Like Megalatios is a pretty decent SERP check, but besides that, everything else, HP Fire plus Leaf Storm is really good coverage against this team, so sort of see how well that goes for her. Basically everything else I'm expecting. I'm really terrified of a Calm Mind Megalatios. I don't have good ways of beating Calm Mind Megalatios this week, so that could be very problematic. I'm not entirely sure what the likelihood of her bringing Calm Mind Megalatios is against me, though, because I know for sure that it needs T-Bolt, at the very least, and it probably wants, like, Dragon coverage, I guess, as well. I'm not sure. I'm not entirely sure. It's definitely not, like, hampered by move slot syndrome. I'm just not sure what it would want to run against me this week. Buzzwole is definitely scary, but probably also doesn't come. If she's really terrified of Mega Alakazam, she won't bring the Buzzwole, and I think that she won't bring, like, a good Nidoking in that case either. I've brought Celesteela to every match. There's absolutely no reason for her not to bring Magneton to this game to trap my Celesteela and just obliterate it. It's a gigantic problem for the Alolan Ninetales. So if she brings Alolan Ninetales, I can definitely expect that Magneton's going to come as well. And that's pretty much all there is to it. Manaphy could come as a sweeper role. I've got that covered to an extent. In a few different areas. Alolan Ninetales is definitely going to be a problem. Honchkrow looks like a pretty gigantic issue to my team, to be honest with you. We'll sort of see. I'm not entirely sold that I have a matchup here, but it doesn't really matter. I'm actually clinched for playoffs already. I clinched this past week because all 4 of the teams that I needed to lose lost, and I won. So 9th place is currently sitting at 3 and 5. Actually, I wonder if Vandiril's 9th. Yeah, Vandiril's actually the 9th place team right now, and she's sitting at 3 wins. So there's no chance that I drop below her in the standings, because the best she can do with 4 weeks left into the season is 7 and 5, and I can only go as low as 8 and 4. So I've clinched a playoff spot now, and that's all there is to clinching the playoff spot, is just go 8-0, obviously. But no, I'm obviously trying for an undefeated season here. If it gets broken, I won't be all that mad about it, because I think I've had a very successful season up to now. Transaction period is over, so the 2 drops that we made is all that we're going to see. And let's start talking about my team now. So first up here is Rotom-Wash. Pretty basic, physically defensive set. It's a pretty good switch into the Honchkrow, in all honesty. It's a decent switch into the Lycanroc Dusk as well. Same with the Buzzwole. Can basically handle the physical attackers pretty well. It's not the greatest wall in the world, but with Eye of Papa Berry, I get a lot of health back. I'm running Volt Switch for momentum. This team's like ground type is Nidoking, which I really don't see coming all that often. It doesn't really threaten me all that much, and I've got ways of dealing with the Magneton to an extent with other Mons, but I can just Volt Switch on the Magneton anyways. Toxic, Discharge, which both work with Hex here. So Discharge is for really pesky Mons that I'd like to paralyze, i.e. Lycanroc Dusk, i.e. Manaphy. I'd love to paralyze those. Toxic on basically everything else, you know, besides, like, I don't know, Honchkrow or whatever. And then I can just hex I can hex a lot of stuff here. This is one of my failsafes to Calm Mind Megalatios. It's not really a failsafe because I'm, like, still really weak to calm my Megalodios, but getting a Toxic off on it and being able to Hex it to death should be something. Or at the very least Toxic it and then Volt Switch out on it, I guess, is another option there. That's the idea behind the Rotom-Wash this week. Serp, I'm bringing a speedy, defensive-ish Serp with Defog. This is my removal for the week. There's lots of hazards on this team, and I don't really want to deal with hazards, especially rocks. So I'm running Defog, and I'm not running any hazards of my own. Also for her Veil, excuse me. Leaf Storm just breaks a lot of stuff, gives me some boosts. HP Fire, when I'm boosted, can help break through mons like Skarmory, like Magneton that would otherwise be issues. Buzzwole as well, that otherwise resist Leaf Storm. And then I've got Glare there to slow things down. So I am going for the Paralysis strat once again, which has been like a very common strat all season. I don't really know if anyone's tried to counter it at all. There are a couple mons on her team that can run Heal Bell. I don't think that really makes that big of a difference, in all honesty. Serp is just a really, really powerful Pokemon. I'm outspeeding her base 110 mons with this, which are Megalodios and Lycanroc Dusk. Those are the fastest mons on her team, so Serp should outspeed her whole team unboosted, and then I can get Glares off and make things a lot easier for the rest of my team. Something like a Subseed set actually isn't that bad in this matchup. It helps like wear down Veil turns and whatnot, but I figured this was like not terrible either. Darmanitan, I'm running a Scarf set for Darmanitan with Flare Blitz, U-Turn, Earthquake, and Brick Break. I tested out Brick Break, and it does break through Veil even with Sheer Force. So if I need to Brick Break, I don't know what I would click Brick Break against, in all honesty. Like probably Lycanroc Dusk if I don't need Earthquake to kill it, and I want to get rid of Veil as well, then that's not a horrible play. Or if I'm just in a desperate situation, I can afford to give up my Scarfer, and I need to get rid of Veil at the last second, then I can also do that. This isn't a bad lead at all. It just lets me kind of click Flare Blitz against really obvious Pokemon. Her team is really weak to Flare Blitz, actually. Like, the resists to Flare Blitz on this team are Manaphy, Megalodios, and Lycanroc Dusk, and then maybe a Silvally type. All of those are pretty frail Pokemon. Well, Lycanroc Dusk is pretty frail. Manaphy is actually relatively bulky, and Megalodios is pretty bulky for its own standards, but I can just U-turn most of the time on Manaphy and Megalodios, and I never stay in against Lycanroc Dusk because the Cell Rock is just going to obliterate me. So, yeah, that's the idea behind Darmanitan. It's just kind of a good breaker this week, and it could be a great cleaner if Lycanroc Dusk doesn't show up. It's outspeeding, or sorry, it's speed tagging Silvally. Pardonnez-moi. Speed tagging Silvally. Celestala is here. I'm bringing an Assault Vest variant, super whack build, but it's my main answer to the Alolan Ninetales. Can be my main answer to a Nidoking if she does bring a real Nidoking set, although I don't really anticipate that. And it can be my main answer to the Latios. Although I didn't really prep very well for Kama Megalodios in terms of my Celestala. Giga Drain is there for the Manaphy. This can also be a kind of a Manaphy check, kind of. Flamethrower is there to 1v1 the Skarmory, and it'll also hit the Buzzwole really well. I didn't want to bring Air Slash, so I'm bringing Flamethrower instead. Hits Alolan Ninetales, but I've also got Flash Cannon for the Alolan Ninetales, and Flash Cannon is going to be a really good stab against mons like Nidoking. If it's Air Balloon Nidoking, for whatever reason, Armaldo, it's my best way to hit the Armaldo. It's my best way to hit the Haunch Crow. It's my best way to hit the Lycanroc Dusk. My best way to hit the Megalodios. So Flash Cannon covers a lot of options there for me. Earthquake is there primarily for the Magneton. I can take Magneton hits. If it does want to switch in and trap me, it's not going to be able to OHKO me. Specs Magneton will two-shot me, but if it's Specs and no bulk, then Earthquake is going to one-shot that. So lots of things go into play there. I think she might be a little bit more of a bulky set. I also think she might be expecting a Wakanberry set, which is something I've actually brought in the past from Magnezone with Celesteela. I have absolutely no clue on Vandiril's knowledge of my teams that I've previously built ever. Like, I don't even know if she watches this or not. But way back in Season 1, I actually brought, like, Wakanberry, Celesteela, I think a couple times, actually, as lures for electric types that my team at the time couldn't really deal with. I didn't have a great ground type in Season 1. I can't remember what it was off the top of my head. I think it was Donphan. And now my ground type is Piloswine as well here, right? So I don't really have electrics covered all that well. That's something I kind of like have a weakness with when I'm drafting around Celesteela. But there you go. Kyurem-Black is next. I'm running a Roselli Berry set. Roselli Berry idea is that I can take a hit from either Ninetales or Dazzling Gleam Manaphy, which is the best way Manaphy has to hit my Kyurem-Black, by the way. And so I can take the Fairy-type hits from either of those and get hits off back with Ice Beam, Fusion Bolt. Ice Beam demolishes a lot of this team. It's going to be a really effective way to break through the Skarmory, and if the Skarmory is Spit F, then Fusion Bolt is going to two-shot that. Earth Power is there primarily for the Magneton, but it can also hit other things. I should be able to take an Accel Rock from Lycanroc Dusk, but not a Stone Edge. So got to be wary about those things there. Earth Power hits all of this team besides Honchkrow, by the way. Unboosted Honchkrow is going to be a problem. I am Jolly max attack because it means the Fusion Bolt can two-shot physically defensive Manaphy. So that's the idea behind the Kyurem-Black set, is that I'm just sort of running that. I kind of just like sit there and attack things. There's not really much more to it than that. I have Roost over another move that I could be running, like Iron Head, just because it might be a little bit more effective. I don't know. I thought about Toxic as well for the Mega Latios, or like regular Freeze Shock as well for the Latios, but doesn't really seem to make that much sense to lock myself in when Lycanroc Dusk can come in. I'm also speed tying with the Silvally, and I'm running Jolly just because I need the attack investment, and I need the special attack investment a lot less against this team. It's a much more physically defensive team with the Skarmory and the Buzzwole there, so I want to be able to break through those. Last but not least is Spiritomb. This is a really effective Buzzwole check. Buzzwole cannot really touch this at all. And this is a pseudo Mega Latios check, depending on what he wants, what she wants to go for there. I'm just mono Shadow Ball, Calm Mind. It's not going to be that great if I see the Honchkrow, because Honchkrow can somewhat decimate this. But like Rest Talk, Calm Mind, Mono Shadow Ball is really strong against this team. Assuming Silvally Normal doesn't come, there's no immunity to Shadow Ball in this team, and the only resist is Honchkrow. So it should be able to power through things if I can set up on like Buzzwole, and there's no Whirlwind Skarmory, of course. So that's kind of the idea behind the Spiritomb set. I'm not really bringing a very specially defensive team. There's a lot of sets that she can bring that take advantage of my sets, so I'm going to try and go for the early momentum plays. Probably lead with like either Darmanitan, Kyurem-Black, Rotom, or the Superior, and just sort of like paralyze stuff or pivot around, or just get big hits off. And then save like Spiritomb in the back, I guess, because it's kind of a win condition for me this game. I don't know, we'll sort of see what she brings. In terms of what I'm not bringing Heracross, would have been solid to break through the Mega Latios, but Skarmory just like stands in its way a little bit there. Skarmory plus Buzzwole, kind of a problem. I would have loved to bring like an SD set against those, but the mons that outspeed Heracross this game are a little bit threatening to Heracross, so gotta work around that. Piloswine is not super duper effective in this game, mainly because it's kind of Manaphy fodder, and it's kind of a Roarville fodder at the same time as well for Alolan Ninetales. It's also a Buzzwole fodder, so I didn't really want to bring Piloswine. Wigglytuff, what a meme that Pokemon is. It could switch into Buzzwole. Buzzwole's going to have Poison Jab for it. There's no reason for it not to. I mean, Drain Punch will probably do a lot to the Wigglytuff anyways because it's neutral. Having a fairy that's neutral to fighting really sucks, and I can't drop Wigglytuff at this point. There's one game in particular I'm saving Wigglytuff for. It could be a Honchkrow check, I guess, but it really doesn't take Brave Birds all that well. It's still, in theory, good wish support for Celesteela. This game in particular, when I'm running Assault Vest Celesteela, probably a better matchup for wish support Wigglytuff. I don't know. Mega Alakazam is actually really good in this game. It can trace a lot of really strong abilities, Beast Boost and Sheer Force being two of them. I'm not a fan of it. I could also trace like Magnet Pull and trap the Magneton in. I don't know, man. I just didn't have space for Mega Alakazam. I'd love to bring it, but it's weak to Honchkrow. It kind of brings in the Mega Latios to an extent. So there's just and it gets picked off by priority from Lycanroc. So like I think the priority on this team is just too strong for me to be able to bring Mega Alakazam safely against it. Even though there are some really good abilities for me to trace, I don't think that it threatens too much of the team, despite being able to run a lot of bulk this game, and I think she's going to be really worried about it and not bring mons like Nidoking, so there's thoughts going into playoffs with that as well. Ursaring, a little bit too slow this game. 2 Steel types is too many Steel types, and Buzzwole just like really threatens Ursaring, so like a strong physically defensive core that this team has, I don't feel comfortable bringing Ursaring against. I think it's better against other teams potentially down the road, but definitely not this game. So that's going to be it for me. Hopefully you guys enjoyed this team builder, and I will catch you guys for our Week 9 match in the NCL, taking on Vandiril and the Gallahan Kirlias.